Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Lauren. It is nice to see you guys here today. -5 in Omaha, huh, Dan? Yeah, it wasn't freezing last night actually here over at Paradise, which was nice. So I had prepped the house completely for potential of frozen pipes, and that didn't happen. So I was pretty grateful about that. The question of the day is what went well this week. I feel like this was a week of big changes for me. Lots and lots of stuff happening, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm grateful that you got the court permission to move Stacy's mom over to Atlanta and sell assets. That is good stuff, Dan. I'm just grateful that is all moving forward in your world. Yeah, so Sean says, this week a friend brought me more easy burning wood to make it through the freeze. So grateful. That is amazing, Shauna. I know that you rely on a wood stove in order to keep your house warm. And yeah, so it's good that you have some easy burning wood to get you through that freeze. Pretty sure it's only going to be frozen until about Sunday, and then we are back to the slightly more mild weather. Anyway, well, I've had a pretty good week this week. Many of you guys know that I have a sales job, and so one of the things that happened for me very well this week is that my book of business had been very thin after taking a week off, and I was able to get it to about 40% of capacity in 1 week, and that's really, really good. I'm grateful for that. Anyways, yeah, so that happened this week, and I've just had a lot of good stuff going on. Anyways, we are here today to say some nice things about ourselves, to pull a card off the top of the deck. Good morning, Eric. Good to see you today. To pull a card off the top of the deck, and I'm going to pull that card off, and we are going to, affirm the affirmation on that card. So I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation. We're going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. And as we do that, we are really speaking life into ourselves. So let's have some fun today and yeah, get right into it by saying that today I am authentic. I am authentic. I express my wholeness with compassion and candor. So I am authentic. I express my wholeness with compassion and candor. Are you authentic? You are authentic. You express your wholeness with compassion and candor. And I'm going to write that down in the comments. That I am authentic, that I express my wholeness with compassion and with candor. And I see Lauren has beat me to it, as per usual. Yeah, so we are authentic people, and this is such a fun card to come at the end of this week. I feel like I've had a very good week of wake up calls, and that I have been really living the values that have come up this week, and we'll talk about them here very shortly. But you know, authenticity is something that is it really can't be faked. And the Italians have a word. The word is called sprezzatura. Sprezzatura basically means a learned effortlessness, a studied effortlessness. It is when somebody has really studied how to get through life without putting forth effort. And oftentimes this is uh, a result of really deeply understanding what is important in life and what is not important in life, and then making sure that we just align our lives toward the things that are the most important to us. And so I am authentic today. You are authentic too. I hang around with a bunch of people who are very authentic. Part of being authentic is not judging ourselves, and when we don't judge ourselves, we have a propensity to also not judge others. And so authenticity brings with it a spirit of non-judgment, a spirit of of understanding and compassion for our fellow people. I am authentic today. You are authentic too. We express our wholeness with compassion and candor. That means that we don't hide ourselves. We don't hide who we are. Uh, it's gosh, you're asking me to spell in Italian at 9 o'clock in the morning, Shauna. I love you, but man, I'm pretty sure it's sprezzatura, sprezzatura. It means a studied effortlessness or a learned effortlessness. A lot of times, the Italians in fashion, the Italians definitely have their own style, and the Italian style is very unique. It's like an Italian cut suit is going to look different than an English cut suit. An English cut suit looks a lot more stuffy. An Italian cut suit looks a lot more like it just belongs on your body. And so that's an application of sprezzatura. And I remember that when I go out to the club and I party, somebody somebody came up to me and they said, the clothes that you wear, it always seems like you're so comfortable in them. And that's absolutely right. I am comfortable in my clothes because I only select clothes that fit me perfectly. And I hear the comment all the time, hey, a lot of people here dress well, but you dress very, very well. And and the reason that I dress very, very well is not because my clothes are more expensive, because they're not. A lot of my clothes come from a thrift store. But it's actually because I have really studied how I am most comfortable. And so my clothes hang off my body in a way that I don't have to work at it to make my clothes work. If my clothes don't fit absolutely perfect, they exit my wardrobe, and then I never have to wear them again. And so that's another example of sprezzatura, a studied effortlessness, an effortlessness that is born of really understanding what our values are and then living in accordance with them. And since one of my values is to be comfortable in the clothes that I wear, if I'm going to wear clothes, I'm going to wear comfortable clothes, then that's just looking very good in those clothes is just a manifestation of that. So what is it to express our wholeness? That means to not hide any parts of ourself, not to couch ourselves in ways that are designed to please the people around us rather than rather than being ourselves. But of course, it's entirely possible to be ourselves in such a way that the people around us find offensive. And I certainly have done that in the past. And when I was really learning to love myself, I absolutely was insufferable to the people around me in certain cases. And that's okay. It's okay to be insufferable to the people around us. It's just that that's a sign that that we have the wrong people around us. At this point, I am surrounded by people who are non-judgmental, and so because I'm surrounded by people who are non-judgmental, when I express myself, the folks around me do not take offense to it. But definitely, in the past, I have been intentional about expressing myself, and in not necessarily to my own benefit. So true authenticity is about being the best parts of us, and making sure that we express our wholeness with compassion. That when I have a disagreement with somebody around me, that I do not insist that my way is right, and that I respect their way of being too. And that's the secret of it, is to respect that other people have different ways of being, that they're going to have different opinions, that they're going to have different views on life because of their unique life experiences, and that I can respect that. Yeah, Amanda, you're correct. Being offended is a choice. Yeah, I heard a sermon preached once that was all about offense, and the title of the sermon stuck with me. And it was the title of the sermon was "Offense is in the Heart of the Offended." And I took that to heart, and I realized, I'm like, yeah, actually, every time I've been offended, it's been because I chose to be offended. And so I can just choose not to be offended. And the last couple times that I've been offended, then, I've recognized after a little while, after I came back to my own senses, I was like, wait a minute, this is entirely inside of me. This is a me thing. I can't be, this other person that I'm demonizing or vilifying is not necessarily the evil person in the story. And yeah, I was held accountable yesterday by somebody who was telling me, they're like, hey, you're making yourself the hero in your own story. And I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, that's a very easy thing to fall into, and I'm not immune to that at all. So as we express our wholeness, we have to do it with compassion for the people around us, because otherwise they're not going to pay any attention to what we have to say, or to what our thoughts are, or to us in general. Because if we're expressing our wholeness in such a way that it's also downtrodden on somebody else, then that person is not going to be, that person is not going to want to listen to anything we have to say. And doing it with candor, doing it with expressing our wholeness with compassion is important, but and doing it with candor, doing it with an attitude of non-judgment. Candor is essentially defined as, in this context, anyways, candor is defined as the way that we express things without applying judgment to them. Who is there was this show when I was a kid called Candid Camera, where they would set up intentionally strange situations and then kind of like, see how passersby reacted to them, and passersby would react with candor. It was because they wouldn't know how exactly to behave, and so they would just behave naturally. And of course, it would be a funny thing that they'd behave naturally, and it was always harmless stuff. It wasn't like these people were getting hurt. It's just that they were being served up a strange situation, and they wouldn't be entirely sure how to handle that situation. I remember that there was a negative permutation of this show. It was on MTV, and it was called Keep Your Cool. And Keep Your Cool was kind of a riff on Candid Camera, except that instead of just catching people in candid moments, Keep Your Cool put people into situations that were intentionally designed to make them angry, and then rewarded them if, after a certain period of time, they had kept their cool. And I really didn't like that show at all. I watched only 1 or 2 episodes of it before thinking to myself, like, this show is making the world a worse place, because even after, because either the people would get mad and then they would get nothing, and then everybody in the show would just kind of laugh about how the people on the show got nothing because they got angry at this situation that was being presented to them, or they would get mad and then eventually would realize that the whole thing was a joke. And I remember that, like, one of the situations was that these people were eating in an outdoor cafe, and this guy runs up in a jogging suit and he starts doing stretches on the table of the people who are trying to eat their food. He's just kind of like rubbing his crotch in their food, and they have no idea what's going on. And you can just see these people steaming about like why this person is doing this. And so what a negative application of, of candor that was. And so let's keep our applications of candor positive. Let's keep our applications of candor the way that children usually experience things when they're experiencing them for the first time. It's often just a sense of surprise, but not necessarily judgment. So anyway, we are authentic people. We express our wholeness with compassion and candor. And yeah, I can see that a whole bunch of other folks have joined the wake up call. So good morning, everybody. Let's take a look at the week. Let's go back and let's go back in time to the cards that we pulled this week and really see where we started and where we've ended up. So, we are authentic people, and one of the reasons that we are authentic is because we are open, that we are that we thoughtfully consider new ideas. That's what allows us to be authentic. We can't be authentic to ourselves. We can't be authentic to the highest and best ideas that we have that we have sifted through unless we thoughtfully consider new ones. And yesterday we talked about the benefits of thoughtfully considering new ideas, and also the negative permutation of that, which is that sometimes people will say, well, the problem with an open mind is that somebody will come around and put something in it. Well, we are ultimately responsible for our minds, and so our door can be open, but that doesn't mean that we need to keep bad things in our living room. The day before that, we know that we are authentic, and we are hopeful. And so we trust in the best possible outcome. So in our authenticity, and in our openness, we trust in the best possible outcome to happen for us, which was the card that we went through on Wednesday. And of course, prior to that, we affirmed that we are forgiving, that we release resentment and embrace peace. And we talked about how oftentimes the one who needs forgiveness most is ourselves. That the common thread in all of the stories of all of the people who have ever wronged me was me, and that I also reacted to that, and that whether I was a conscious co-creator of that or not, the fact is that the resentment is entirely inside of myself, and that forgiveness is a gift that I give to myself. And the day before that, on Monday, we affirmed that, because we are forgiving, because we hope in the best possible outcome and are open to the best possible outcome as we express our authenticity, that ultimately we are free, that we release into attachment and embrace possibility. And that and all of these incredible attributes, this freedom and forgiveness and hopefulness and openness and authenticity that we embody in our lives, helps to make us embody the card for Awesome Saturday, which is coming up tomorrow, the Sabbath in my world, which is that we are awesome. So let's recognize our inherent value and worth. We have gone on a wonderful journey so far this week, and we have another set of them to go through next week. And let me see what I can do there for Valentine's Day. If anybody else is interested in sets of these for Valentine's, please let me know. I'll be happy to print out more of them. I'm still in the process of second drafting these things, and the first set of these that I printed was very much my artist's proof, just to make sure that I liked the way everything was coming by. But if anybody else would like a set of these, send me a private message, and I will be very happy to. I'll be very happy to just sort of make sure that I print the right number of them. Yeah, but we are awesome people. Let's recognize our inherent value and worth. Let's recognize that we are, that we are awesome people, and that we're going to have an awesome Saturday tomorrow. I'm going to continue enjoying my Friday. My week has gone well so far, and I anticipate it to continue going well. And let's express our authenticity today. Let's just be authentic people. And let's express our wholeness with compassion and candor. All right, guys, I will return on Monday with another wake-up call. And we will be back again to go through 5 more cards for next week and to really just continue on our journey as we are just continuing to do life together. So anyways, until Until then, I just want to remind you that I love you, that I appreciate you, that I think that you are an amazing person, and that I will talk to you on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, aloha from paradise.